Good morning, this is Chuck. Today what we're going to do is we're going to take a Banksia pod like this and we're going to turn it into a box like this. It's a fun project. We'll have a good time doing it. We'll kind of go through the steps, the things to kind of keep an eye out for, and we'll have a good time while we're doing it. So let's get going on it, and thanks a whole bunch for watching. Okay, I've gone off and I picked the one I'm going to use. It was actually the fattest one I had in my collection. I don't have to do too much, but I'm going to trim just a little bit with the bandsaw on the ends just to kind of square those up a little bit. Then we'll put them between centers and go ahead and true it up before we start making our box. I'm absolutely going to wear a face shield and a long sleeve shirt because I don't have a turning jacket to try and protect myself as much as possible. So we'll get it on the lathe after we trim it off, and we'll start to true it down and see where we can go with this. I have the piece between centers now, and I think I've got it pretty well positioned. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to true it up. I'm going to turn my dust collection unit on while I do that. So I'm going to turn the sound down, put on the squirrel drums, and then we'll chat as we go along when I get to some stopping points. Okay, I've almost got it trued up, but I'm going to go through and continue on a little bit to get through the, for lack of a better term, the brown velvet that we've got right here. I won't be able to apply any type of a finish or anything until I get past that. I'm going to get a parting tool, and I'm going to run a tenon right through here and right through here, just so I can get that part of it all set. And then once I do that, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put it in the chuck, at least on this side here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll part the box about 2/3 of the way up. All right, now I'm going to cut the balance of that the rest of the way through with a saw. I'm going to set the outer rim now to mount the box in. And because of the texture, I'm actually going to use one of my carbide cutters, and I'm probably going to bring it in just a bit longer than I normally would for a box, just to make sure I've got enough that I can get a good sitting when I put the top on. Alright, I think that'll do it, and I'll go ahead and I'll start to work the center, and then we'll put the top on. I drilled a pilot hole, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just run it down with the carbide cutter again. It's in about 3 inches or so, and I'm going to try and make sure that I leave myself a good 1/4 of an inch on the rim for the contents, and then for the lid to set up. So I'm going to start, and probably we'll use the line right around here and cut out and in towards there. going to do is take this off. I'm going to put the top in on the tenon that I created for the top. We'll hollow that out. We'll leave the outside diameter for that so we can cut that through. And then we should be all set to put it together. Do the sanding and finishing it up. Alright, marking with a pencil just isn't going to work, but I got a nice scratch all that I made. Now what this will do is this will give me a starting point. I know that it's going to be too narrow at this point, but once I get to here, then I can work myself gradually out so that I don't make it too large. So let me go ahead, we'll start to work this in. I think that center is going to hold to be pretty true, and we'll get to here, then we'll bring the bottom in, and we'll just keep trying to fit it till we got where we need to be. Okay, it still looks like my original pencil marks are going to be pretty close. But we'll do this once or twice more and we should be right there. Alright, this is pretty good. What we're going to go ahead and do now is we're going to take the top tenon off. We'll finish it. We'll take the bottom tenon off, and then we'll be all set with our box. Alright, and before I start sanding it for the finals, I've got my wife's old toothbrush down here. She lost it, and I've been using it ever since she lost it. And so I'm going to try and clean out some of the debris out of the holes, and then I'll blow it out after I do that, and that way we can go through and we get the CA finish on this, because that's what I'm going to use, give it a nice hearty shine without having all the clutter and stuff on it. You can see we got coming inside and out on this. So I'm going to head and do this for a few minutes, kind of get it all cleaned out and ready to go, and I'll be right back with you. Turns out the best tool for this cleaning process wasn't my wife's old toothbrush, but it's actually some little rifler files I've got here. Looks like we have everything from spider debris to insect larvae and all kinds of other things in here. So this actually looks like it's going to do a good job, because when it's all set up and nice, I think the holes are going to really contribute a lot to this box. And I think it'll make it a very unique birthday gift. Okay, the box is all formed. What I'm going to do is separate it. I'm going to put the CA on the bottom, then I'll reverse it and cut the tenon off. I'll put the CA on the top then by basically running the chuck inside and expanding outwards. And then it should be all set and finished. I've reversed the bottom on the chuck now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to saw the tenon off. Then I'll sand that down, apply the CA to that, make it kind of a blended finish to it. And at that point in time, what we should be ready to do is polish the CA, and we'll be all set and ready to go. Obviously, I've been smart about this at the beginning. I would have reversed this and sawed off the tenon before I applied the CA, which I didn't do. But no big deal. What I'll do is I'll sand the bottom down. We'll do any touch-ups on the CA that we have to. Then we'll be ready to polish, and then our box should be all set and finished. We're all sanded up. It was no big deal. I just took an orbital sander to the bottom of this, and I think it'll come out just fine. So we're going to go ahead. We'll apply the CA on it. There's absolutely nothing done to the side, so I really shouldn't have to do too much to that. Alright, it's really got a nice glass-like finish. I'm going to do the top exactly like this. We'll put them together and take a look at the finished product. I did want to mention that I think it's important that when you're finishing the product that you make sure and you apply either some sanding solution or maybe even a thin layer of the CA glue on the inside rim here. If you don't do it, the natural color of the Banksia pod is actually going to show through the holes from the lid, and it's going to stick out. It's going to be quite contrasting. But if you do that, I think you'll find that it blends in and looks quite nice. Make sure when you're putting this together that you don't go too thin on the lid outer shell, because if you do, it's just going to be too structurally weak with all the holes in it. And I find it a lot better to go off and use the saw to take the tenons off rather than to try and cut it out with one of my gouges. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll talk to you soon.